G'day everybody. Today is such an interesting contradiction that we're going to go through because, well, there are, as I have said before, there are 439 of these contradictions that are supposedly in the Bible, and this is an atheist list that they have put together, and I'm going through it one by one and I'm finding it a Bible study. I'm finding it so much more interesting. And today is one of those things I feel like I'm finding more about the Bible, more about God, more about the whole story, say, of the Old Testament than any contradiction. Well, I don't know. Maybe you think this is still a contradiction. Let me know in the comments. But today, we're going to go through this one. My name is Craig. This is Cosmo. And this is your journey through the Bible, one question at a time. So here we are. This is the contradiction for today that we're going to go through.
Today, we're exploring a contradiction that might seem puzzling at first glance. It's amazing how these apparent contradictions can lead to deeper understanding and discovery within the Bible. Ready to dive into this one?
Certainly. Okay, so let's do this one. Did the city of Ai exist after Joshua destroyed it? Now, obviously, it's not AI as in artificial intelligence like Cosmo here, but it is a city that was called Ai. So did the city of Ai exist after Joshua destroyed it? So can you just go over like the story of Ai with Joshua and also the Joshua 8 and 28 verse, please?
Sure thing, Craig. The city of Ai features in the book of Joshua. After the Israelites' initial defeat due to Achan's sin, they regrouped and under Joshua's leadership devised a clever plan to lure Ai's army out of the city, allowing an ambush to capture and destroy it. Joshua 8:28 states that Joshua burned Ai and made it a permanent heap of ruins, a desolate place to that day. So, did it continue to exist after that? That's what we'll be delving into.
And I find it interesting because in the book of Joshua, if you're listening, you may not have heard that because unfortunately Cosmo was cutting in and out there. But basically it was saying that Ai had been absolutely destroyed, and until this day it is still absolutely. So the time of writing of Joshua, it was still ruins. However, now it is saying that it's gone, it's ruins, that's it. And up until today of the writing of Joshua, it's still ruins. Now, let's go to Nehemiah 7:32, because it seems very opposite. And it's all like, did that even happen in the beginning?
In Nehemiah chapter 7, verse 32, we find a reference to the men of Bethel and Ai among those who returned from exile. This listing suggests that Ai was inhabited again by the time of Nehemiah, even though it was said to be in ruins after Joshua's conquest. This apparent contradiction raises questions about the historical continuity of Ai. Was it rebuilt? Or is there more to the story? Let's delve deeper.
And I find it so interesting because people are saying that this is a contradiction. And that this contradiction changes everything about the Bible. You can't trust it. Yet I find it so much rich, more detailed because, I mean, at the time...
Absolutely.
Okay, sorry about that. At the time of Joshua, 8:28 was written. You can read this yourself. Go to 8:28 and it says that it was completely destroyed, and even today, the time of writing Joshua, so obviously they're looking back to when it happened and now, it was absolutely destroyed even till today. Then Nehemiah states there were people from Ai or Ai, and there was always people there, or at least it makes it feel like that. But it goes deeper than this. Because I think the problem with this contradiction is that there are how many years between Joshua and Nehemiah?
There's roughly 800 to 1,000 years between Joshua and Nehemiah. A lot can happen in that time, including rebuilding and resettling a city. The historical context can provide insights into how Ai's status changed over the centuries, shedding light on this supposed contradiction.
Sorry, how many years did you say? Because my dog was distracting me in the background. But did you say 800? Was that correct?
Yes, that's right. It's roughly 800 to 1,000 years between the events of Joshua and Nehemiah. Quite a
So,
span of time for things to change.
so why couldn't, okay, it's completely destroyed, but by the time of Nehemiah, and we're talking that, let's just start for one thing here, that, I'm trying to think here,
Sure.
amongst everything,
No worries.
there was a complete, Babylonian army had come into this area and they had taken everybody out. And for another, I don't know how many years, and then they finally come back and resettle back to AI. But there's so much have happened and everything. So really, why couldn't they completely destroy something and then come back and rebuild it?
Exactly, Craig. Given the historical context, it's plausible that after Ai's destruction by Joshua, it was rebuilt or re-inhabited over the centuries, especially considering the Babylonian exile and return. Cities often underwent cycles of destruction and reconstruction in ancient times. So, what might appear as a contradiction could just be a part of the dynamic history of the region.
And this happens all the time, I think, anyway. And who's to say that it's not hyperbole? You know, it's just like, okay, we've destroyed everything. I mean, we say this with even football teams or soccer teams or whatever. Oh, we totally annihilated the opposition. That's not actually what happened, but it kind of is. It's just hyperbole. So I think this one is dead in the water. We've got so many more contradictions because they keep stopping people from reading the Bible, and I want to encourage people to read the Bible because it is such a rich and involved and detailed, and the biggest thing is that Jesus is through the Old Testament. It just shows that he's there the whole time. I just want to get into the
Absolutely,
Bible
Craig.
so much more, and I know I get excited by this, and we've got another one coming up next week. So click on that one, go do something awesome for God, and we'll catch you in the next one.